Apply practice and mental fortitude using to a Shaolin warrior.
What you repeatedly speak is not harmless sound, it is instruction given directly to the mind. The brain does not distinguish between words spoken casually and words spoken with intention. It only recognizes repetition. When a sentence is repeated often enough, it becomes familiar. When it becomes familiar, it becomes believable. And when it is believed, it begins to guide behavior automatically. This is why people often live inside patterns they never consciously chose. Their language trained them long before their awareness did. Every word carries direction. When you say, "I am tired," the body responds by conserving energy. When you say, "This is difficult," the mind begins to search for avoidance. When you say, "I always fail," attention narrows toward proof of failure. These reactions happen without effort, because the mind has learned to follow language as instruction. Over time, speech becomes a silent commander, shaping decisions, reactions, and emotional states in the background. Conscious language interrupts this automatic process. It does not deny reality, but it reframes how the mind relates to it. Saying this requires effort instead of "this is impossible" trains the mind to engage rather than retreat. Saying "I am learning" instead of "I am bad at this" keeps attention focused on growth rather than self-judgment. These are not motivational tricks, they are neurological training. Attention follows the direction of language and emotion follows attention. When language becomes disciplined, emotional stability increases. Repeated calm, responsible speech reduces inner chaos. Instead of amplifying fear, frustration, or impatience, the mind learns to pause and observe. Over time, this changes emotional responses. Anger loses intensity because it is no longer constantly fed by reactive words. Anxiety weakens because the mind is not repeatedly instructed to anticipate danger. Peace is not created by external silence, but by internal instruction. Behavior is the final outcome of repeated speech. What you say today becomes what you do tomorrow. If your language reinforces avoidance, comfort becomes the default behavior. If your language reinforces responsibility, action becomes natural. This is why disciplined people speak differently, even when alone. Their inner dialogue supports effort, patience, and consistency. They do not wait for confidence, they speak alignment until confidence follows. The most important conversations happen in private. Public speech influences others, but private speech programs the self. When careless language dominates the inner world, progress becomes unstable. When conscious language is practiced daily, discipline becomes sustainable. The mind begins to cooperate instead of resist. Over time, you will notice that challenges feel lighter, not because they are smaller, but because your internal instructions are clearer. You will waste less energy negotiating with yourself. Action will feel simpler. This is the power of repeated conscious speech. It slowly transforms attention, regulates emotion, and reshapes behavior without force. What you repeatedly speak, you eventually become. The morning is not just the beginning of the day, it is the foundation upon which the entire day rests. In the first moments after waking, the mind is open, unguarded, and highly receptive. It has not yet been filled with external demands, opinions, or distractions. Whatever enters the mind at this time leaves a deeper imprint than at any other moment. This is why the first thoughts and words of the day quietly determine the quality of decisions, the level of discipline, and the stability of emotions that follow. When a person wakes up and immediately checks their phone, revisits worries, or replays yesterday's failures, the mind is given direction without awareness. The day then unfolds in reaction mode. Attention scatters, emotions fluctuate easily, and discipline feels heavy. This is not a lack of willpower, it is a lack of intentional guidance. The mind was never aligned before it was asked to perform. Morning awareness means choosing what occupies the mind before the world does. A few conscious breaths, a few intentional words, or a clear reminder of responsibility creates structure within the mind. This structure acts like an inner compass. When challenges appear later in the day, decisions are clear because the mind was already oriented. Instead of reacting impulsively, there is space to respond wisely. The words spoken in the morning become reference points. When you remind yourself early that effort matters more than comfort, discipline becomes easier when resistance appears. When you speak patience at the start of the day, frustration loses its urgency later. This is how inner stability is built, not by controlling every situation, but by preparing the mind before situations arise. Consistency in morning awareness compounds over time. One intentional morning may bring clarity for a day, but repeated mornings of awareness reshape identity. The mind begins to expect discipline instead of avoidance. Focus replaces distraction as the default. Emotional balance strengthens because the day is no longer entered unconsciously. A directed morning reduces mental noise. Instead of carrying confusion from the first hour into every task, there is a quiet sense of purpose. Even when the day becomes demanding, there is less internal resistance. Energy is conserved because the mind is not constantly negotiating with itself. Morning awareness is not about perfection or long rituals. It is about ownership. It is the simple decision to lead your mind before it leads you. Those who cultivate this practice do not depend on motivation throughout the day. Their direction was already set when the mind was most open. And because of that, their actions, discipline, and inner stability follow naturally. Discipline is often misunderstood as something that appears when motivation is high. In reality, motivation is unstable. It rises and falls with mood, energy, and circumstances. If discipline depends on emotion, it will disappear the moment discomfort appears. True discipline is built when action continues even in the absence of desire. This is why repetition, not emotion, is the foundation of transformation. The mind learns through patterns. When a thought, word, or action is repeated daily, the mind begins to accept it as normal. At first, aligned thoughts spoken with intention may feel artificial or forced. This resistance is natural. It is simply the old pattern defending itself. But repetition weakens resistance. What once felt difficult becomes familiar, and what becomes familiar eventually becomes automatic. Daily practice does not need intensity, it needs consistency. Speaking disciplined thoughts once does nothing. Speaking them every day slowly rewires inner behavior. When you repeatedly remind yourself that effort is required regardless of feeling, the mind stops negotiating. Excuses lose strength because they are no longer reinforced by inner dialogue. Discipline becomes less of a struggle and more of a routine response. Emotion reacts to circumstance. Discipline is independent of it. On days when energy is low or confidence is absent, aligned speech acts as a stabilizing force. By repeating intentional words, you guide attention away from emotional fluctuation and back to responsibility. This trains the mind to act first and feel later. Over time, emotion begins to follow discipline instead of controlling it. Transformation is not dramatic, it is subtle. It happens quietly through daily repetition that compounds. Each morning of aligned thought strengthens the internal structure. Each day of intentional speech reinforces identity. Eventually, you no longer ask whether you feel like doing the work. The question disappears because the habit has replaced it. Many people wait for inspiration before acting. Disciplined individuals act until inspiration becomes irrelevant. Their strength comes from routine mental training, not bursts of emotion. This is why they remain stable under pressure. The behavior does not depend on how they feel, it depends on what they have practiced. Repetition also builds trust within the self. When you consistently follow through on what you say, even in small ways, self-respect grows. Confidence is not created by success alone, but by honoring commitments made to yourself. Spoken intention followed by repeated action forms integrity. In time, discipline becomes effortless, not because the work is easy, but because resistance has been trained out of the mind.
Apply practice
This is
and
the
mental
result of
fortitude
daily
using
intentional
resolution
repetition.
to a Shaolin warrior.
Transformation does not arrive through
Apply
emotional
practice and
intensity.
mental
It
fortitude
arrives through
using
quiet
resolution
consistency
to a
practiced
Shaolin
long
warrior.
enough to reshape who you are.
Apply practice and mental
Responsibility for the inner
fortitude
world
using
is
resolution
a turning
to a
point
Shaolin
between a
warrior.
reactive life and a grounded one.
Apply practice and mental fortitude
Most people
using
attempt to
resolution
control
to
their
a Shaolin
circumstances,
warrior.
believing peace will
Apply
come when
practice and
situations
mental
improve.
fortitude using
Yet
resolution
the outer
to a
world is
Shaolin warrior.
unpredictable by nature.
Apply
When
practice
stability
and
depends
mental
on external
fortitude using
conditions,
resolution to a
calm
Shaolin
becomes
warrior.
temporary and fragile. True
Apply
strength
practice
begins
and
when
mental
responsibility
fortitude
shifts
using
inward
resolution
toward the
to a
mind,
Shaolin warrior.
reactions, and daily habits.
Apply
Blame
practice
is a way
and
the
mental
mind avoids
fortitude
effort.
using resolution
When
to a
difficulties
Shaolin
arise,
warrior.
it is easy to point outward
Apply practice
toward
and
people,
mental fortitude
events, or
using
unfair
resolution
situations.
to a Shaolin
This
warrior.
may bring short-term relief,
Apply
but it
practice
weakens
and mental
inner
fortitude
authority.
using resolution
Each
to a
time blame
Shaolin
is
warrior.
used, the mind learns that control
Apply
lies
practice
elsewhere.
and mental fortitude
Over
using
time, this
resolution
creates
to a
helplessness,
Shaolin warrior.
frustration, and emotional
Apply
volatility.
practice and mental fortitude using
Responsibility
resolution
reverses this
to a
process.
Shaolin
It
warrior.
restores agency.
Apply
Taking
practice and mental
responsibility for the
fortitude
mind does
using
not mean
resolution
suppressing
to a
thoughts or
Shaolin
emotions.
warrior.
It means observing them without
Apply
surrendering
practice
control.
and mental fortitude
Thoughts will
using
appear often
resolution to a
uninvited.
Shaolin warrior.
Reactions will arise, shaped by past
Apply
conditioning.
practice and mental fortitude
Responsibility
using
begins at the
resolution
moment of
to a
awareness,
Shaolin
when
warrior.
you recognize that while you cannot
Apply
choose every
practice
thought,
and mental
you can
fortitude
choose how
using
much
resolution
power
to
it
a Shaolin
receives.
warrior.
This choice is the
Apply
foundation
practice
of inner
and mental
freedom.
fortitude using
Reactions
resolution
reveal
to a
training.
Shaolin warrior.
An untrained mind reacts
Apply
automatically.
practice and mental
A
fortitude
trained mind
using
pauses.
resolution to a Shaolin
Responsibility
warrior.
lies in creating that pause.
Apply practice
When
and mental
irritation,
fortitude
fear, or
using
impatience
resolution
arises,
to a Shaolin warrior.
The question is no longer why is this
Apply
happening to
practice
me,
and mental
but how
fortitude
will I
using
respond to
resolution
this?
to a Shaolin warrior.
This shift alone changes the
Apply
quality of
practice
life.
and mental fortitude
Circumstances
using
remain the
resolution
same,
to a Shaolin
but
warrior.
inner stability increases.
Apply practice and
Habits
mental
where
fortitude
responsibility
using
becomes
resolution
visible.
to a
Daily
Shaolin warrior.
routines, language,
Apply
and attention
practice and
patterns
mental
shape
fortitude
long-term
using
outcomes.
resolution to a
A
Shaolin
calm
warrior.
life is not created by occasional
Apply
insight,
practice and
but
mental
by repeated
fortitude
choices
using resolution
that
to
support
a
clarity
Shaolin
and
warrior.
discipline.
Apply
When you take
practice and
responsibility
mental
for habits,
fortitude using
you stop
resolution
waiting
to
for
a Shaolin
motivation
warrior.
or perfect conditions.
Apply practice
You act
and mental
because
fortitude
alignment
using
matters more than
resolution
comfort.
to a Shaolin warrior.
Inner responsibility also
Apply
dissolves
practice
unnecessary
and mental
conflict.
fortitude using
When you no
resolution
longer
to a
expect
Shaolin
others to
warrior.
regulate your emotions, resentment
Apply
fades.
practice and mental
You become
fortitude
less
using
reactive
resolution
and more
to a
composed,
Shaolin warrior.
not because others changed,
Apply
but
practice
because your
and mental
dependence on them
fortitude
did.
using resolution
This
to a
creates
Shaolin
quiet
warrior.
confidence. Strength is
Apply
no longer
practice
displayed
and
through
mental
control
fortitude
or
using
argument,
resolution
but through
to a
steadiness.
Shaolin warrior.
A strong inner world produces
Apply
a simple
practice
clarity.
and mental
You
fortitude
do what is
using
required,
resolution
regardless
to
of
a
mood.
Shaolin warrior.
You speak with awareness, regardless
Apply
of pressure.
practice and mental
You act in
fortitude
alignment,
using resolution
regardless of
to a
uncertainty.
Shaolin warrior.
This does not make life free
Apply
of
practice
difficulty,
and
but it
mental
makes
fortitude
difficulty
using
manageable.
resolution to a Shaolin
Calm is
warrior.
not the absence of challenge.
Apply
It is the
practice
presence
and
of
mental fortitude
responsibility.
using resolution to a Shaolin
When you
warrior.
stop blaming circumstances and take
Apply
ownership of your
practice
inner
and mental
world,
fortitude
stability
using resolution
becomes
to a
internal.
Shaolin
And
warrior.
once stability is internal,
Apply
life no
practice
longer
and
needs to
mental
be
fortitude
controlled.
using
It can be
resolution
faced
to a
with
Shaolin
clarity,
warrior.
patience, and strength.